Hey everybody, it's Connor, and today I want to talk to you about something I've been thinking a ton about and writing a ton about, which is the way that companies are starting to invest in these enterprise grade large language models, which by the way, I am totally for. But I am seeing three huge mistakes that I feel like a lot of companies are making. So I want to just address those, and I want to talk about how we can avoid those, because it is not hard to avoid if we just commit to it. So, mistake and problem number one is what I like to call the treadmill problem. And that's this. When you want to get into shape, you go on Amazon and you buy yourself a treadmill. So what happens then, right? You have this amazing tool that's going to change everything, right? Well, not exactly, because what happens? You get on the treadmill and your brain is like, what's this? I don't like this. This is really painful. The couch is like right over there, dude. Why aren't we back over there, right? Because it's not actually about the tool. It's about behavior. And in other words, spending, like on a treadmill or on a big enterprise LLM, large language model, like ChatGPT, is easier than changing behavior. It's almost like buying a change in behavior, or you think you are, right? We feel like this is going to be the unlock, that nobody's been using this large language model because they've been afraid of entering data. The real reason is that people don't really understand well how to use large language models like ChatGPT. What is the return on investment if people aren't really using it? So again, the problem with getting into shape was never that we didn't own a treadmill. The problem was always a behavioral one. So how do we avoid that problem, right? It's one giant solution. It's get training. It's not just training on how to use the tool. ChatGPT doesn't have a single use case. It's very hard to create sort of a manual around it. Now, do you have to show people how to use it, use cases? Yes, absolutely. But more importantly, we have to train people and our people at work how to want to use the tool. It's about getting the dopamine flowing, because once people really experience the power of this thing, it is a huge difference maker. Just trust me on that if you haven't already seen it, but I'm guessing a lot of you have. Okay, big mistake number two is what I call the fancy Google problem, because I hear this all the time. What are you going to do with this? Well, we're going to plug it into our data essentially, and we are going to be able to talk to our data in natural language, total game changer. Our clients are going to be able to talk to all our data, total game changer. And they are right. This is an absolute needle mover. This is going to create incredible value. But also, all we're really doing there is putting sort of a super fancy Google onto your data and making it even more Googleable. Yes, in large language, being able to query it, but really it's sort of like Google. And again, that's amazing. It's going to move the needle and everything else. But it's also sort of, because you're kind of turning it into like sort of a stable tool instead of an augmentation of what everybody can do across the organization and leveling everybody up, you're sort of just making it limited. You're making it a commodity, which means that you essentially buy yourself, 6 months ahead of your competition or something. But then everybody catches up and you're just leaving so much value on the table. So how do we avoid that? I know, broken record, but you have to actually get training. You have to actually change the behavior and mindset in your organization across functions, because the real power of large language models is that they really augment what everybody does across the organization, as long as that person is a knowledge worker. So whatever that person is good at, they're going to be amazing at. If they don't know how to do something, they're going to get really, really good at that too. When they are used correctly, these large language models like ChatGPT, they elevate the quality, they elevate the speed, and not just by a little bit, by double-digit percentages. I really encourage you to check out the BCG report done by Ethan Malik and others. It's really, really compelling and powerful. So that is the second problem, fancy Google, and the way to avoid it. Third problem is what I call the Formula One engine problem. And that means that we are essentially putting a Formula One engine, this incredible game-changing large language model, into an old Ford Pinto or whatever a bad car is. What I mean is that the structure of that organization hasn't changed and hasn't adapted to what this whole new thing is. Your old organizational structure, the prioritization of tasks, the delegation of responsibilities, all this stuff needs to be reconsidered. So how do we avoid that? What I really want to say is that when you make this investment, you have to have a plan. So again, understand which roles could potentially be changed. What sort of new kinds of people should you be hiring? What kind of skill set should you be looking for? But ultimately, I got to tell you, it really is about training your people to understand and really take advantage of this. You've made the big investment. You've already done it. You've done the hard thing. Now it's time for the change management piece. And if all of this is helpful, great. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you next time.